Tobago's best fisherman. Catch a fish a mile wide, 80 feet in span. He had to tighten the boat
and swim back to land
to get his brother a rig
to give him a hand.
You hear lie?
That is lie.
Lie? You hear lie? Teacher must be saved. You tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die. Why, sir? Check it out. Lion, the lion, he laughed till he sweat.
He said, Mr. Depot, you ain't say nothing yet.
If you really want to hear about fishing, let me blow your mind. Now listen to something. When you're talking about fish,
You just hit the spot. I was hoping you would believe it or not. The fish your father caught, to you it was great. But it's them small fish my father does use for bait.
Lion went ahead on once in the show.
Completely eliminated Mr. Depot.
The next man to beat was really outrageous.
He asked the judges.
If he could lie first, the judges asked Lion.
The lion agreed.
Say any topic, wing pig is alright with me. He outrageous, I strong, let we meet head on. And when we done, see who head fit to wear the crown. You hear lie?
That is lie.
Lie?
You hear lie.
Teacher Pussy said,
Well, you see what I have tonight?
you're going to hell.
See what I have tonight? I'm reading the cards tonight.
Chuck it up.
I'm reading the cards tonight. Is the card we looking for?
The outrageous say that he knew a tailor comes to making suit. The man is the master.
If you show him a man coming round a corner
He could make him a suit.
and don't even measure,
I'm talking about suit.
sitting down correct.
Expertly made and fitting perfect. He used to sew for Shakespeare, make suit for Hamlet. And up to this day yet, make a mistake yet. You know the crowd went wild.
They couldn't cool down. I say lion in lion, losing the crown.
The judges brought the crowd back to order
And asked the lion,
to lie about a tailor.
he said, my man is the best, Rob. Facing him, cutting cloth, making suit is his game. Don't show him the man, my tailor is class.
Just show him the corner where the fella pass, and he gon' make a suit.
That is the tailor.
You hear lie? King liar. Teacher Pussy said you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die.
Facebook in an absolute mess today. So we don't expect massive numbers here. We'll get massive numbers possibly when the rebroadcast, when everybody Facebook settle on. But in the meantime, you could feel free to share the video. I am one of the admins of Stand Up TNT, and 50 others share the video to the same group every night. So if it's somebody else, I have something for all you. I have something for all you tonight. I have something for you tonight. That's why I walk with my cards. I walk with my cards because I'm reading the cards tonight. I walk with the cards. I'm waiting for enough people because I'm showing all you know. I'm reading the cards tonight. Tonight, and then you call the video, pick a card, any card. We go in. But first, let me get some information in the public space so we could address. Yeah? We could address and deal with going forward. I want you. Nice. We're going to learn some laws of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Small laws. The crowd building. And the Sukusa scroll on. No, they did that video. Facebook don't give you much choice, you know. Facebook don't give you much choice. But they have something you need to know. Something you need to know. And I want you to know this going in. Give me 2 seconds. Because I'm giving you information. Share the video now, babes. Share the video. Share the video. And I'm sorry, and I'm taking 2 minutes for this. But you need to know this. Trinidad, do you know that there's a law against witchcraft? Do you know that there is a law against witchcraft in Trinidad? I want you to hear this. A woman was charged recently in Trinidad for practicing obeah, for practicing witchcraft in Trinidad. And I'm trying to find that section. So while the audience building, let me tell you something now. CNC3, Nicholas Sabga, the Sabga family, guilty. The Sabga family and Sabga News Network, tomorrow I write in the Commissioner of Police and I write in the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. CNC3 has a show where a man purports to be able to practice witchcraft. And that is the whole show. Reading cards. Now, you have to understand this. The responsibility to accept his ability to read cards and tell the future, looking in cards, rests with the Commissioner of Police, possibly the Director of Public Prosecutions. And we need to know if Nicholas Sabga and the Sabga News Network are guilty. But we definitely know that if you are reading cards and charging people to tell their future in Trinidad and Tobago, that is called larceny by trick. I'm going to read our law for you too. Larceny by trick. You see, they quick to talk and your boy just give them room to run. Because I don't mind, as I tell all you, it's a Gael. All we could play. Bring your boy, pelt wood. But make sure that your jaw ain't made of glass. There is a Summary Offences Act, Chapter 1102, Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah? And the laws include unlawfully taking fish, stealing and damaging trees, stealing agriculture produce, fraudulent conversion. That is the next one. Unlawful possession of trees or parts of fences. Unlawful possession of a farm animal or a part of a farm animal. And this is trying to make a laws, eh? I want you to know, being found on, entering, or leaving cultivated lands without lawful cause or excuse. Superstitious devices, intimidation by fraudulent means, article used to commit an offense. But I want to find witchcraft. There's one that's actual witchcraft. The Summary Offences Act is big. Rogues and vagabonds, who may be deemed rogues and vagabonds, begging by false pretense, possession of house-breaking implements. You don't have to break in nobody's house, you know. If you have tools that you can't explain, if you're walking in the street and you have a hammer and a screwdriver and you can't explain why, they could charge you for possession of house-breaking implements. Being in enclosed place for unlawful purpose, which is different to loitering. Being in other places for unlawful purpose in case the place ain't closed. obscene exposure, gaming, prostitutes, incorrigible rogues. They had rogues and vagabonds before, but this is incorrigible rogues. We're dealing with it. We're dealing with it. I want you all to hear this. Tomorrow I'm writing the Commissioner of Police and I'm writing the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. I want an investigation into Mr. Siaman because he is taking gullible people money, and it is the function of the government, it is the function of law enforcement to protect people against fraudsters, tricksters and con artists. If in Trinidad and Tobago it is against the law, good night Christophe Samlal, if it is against the law in Trinidad and Tobago to practice witchcraft and you are hosting witchcraft shows on CNC3, you're breaking the law. And if you're telling people that you could read their future and take their money, because to the gullible people who following this con man, you buy $8 million house in Fairways on all your superstition. Violent language and breach of the peace, incorrigible rogues. Person suspected of being idle, and watch me, before he get that Zeppo, somebody tell him, watch now, they have an app for this, you know. You could fool people. Before that, he was a mechanic, driving taxi in town. He was a mechanic driving taxi in town and selling banana. And somebody turned him on and tell him. Somebody turned him on and tell him, boy, you could fool stupid people. And when the UNC in office, he is not a seer man. When the UNC in office, he is drive backhoe for Ganga Singh and Jolene John. Contractor, different thing then. But to the gullible people, I want you all to understand, it is sad that some people in such desperate need of leadership will turn to charlatans. Now we read the cards. We read the cards and see what the cards have to say. Drunkenness or disorderly conduct in places of public resort. Drunkenness, gambling, or disorderly conduct in public houses. Being found drunk in a public place is a charge. You could be walking down the road drunk and you think that you and Sabga is friend because he's carrying a drinking whole night. That is a charge. Penalty on convicted offenders. Dancing or gambling. Religious observances, customs or ceremonies. Possession of weapons intended for crime. Offenses in streets. Offenses in regard to animals and vehicles. I'm dealing with this. I tell you all, the name of this video tonight is Let's Pretend. And we're going to deal with other things that we pretend in. But I want to deal with this con man, seer man. And I'm done. And from today I'm telling you. From today I'm telling you, if you come, make sure all your ducks in a row. Depositing goods in streets. Obstruction in streets and landing places. Trailers parked for a period in excess of 24 hours. All of that is a charge. Disposal of goods improperly placed in streets. Your garbage improperly placed is a charge. Throwing stones or other missiles. Public nuisance. Flying of kites prohibited in Port of Spain and any borough or proclaimed area. Police may destroy kites. Bathing in Maraval River is a crime. If you bathe in Maraval River, you can get charged. Washing clothes in or discharge of noxious matter into stream or pond. Owner of land not to pollute water flowing into any other land. This is why me and Stallmeyer had fallout. Because their business had turned the whole Bay by Westmoreland red when a worker accidentally threw poisonous substance into their drain in their business and it washed right out into the sea and fouled the whole. They don't want to talk about that. Inciting animals to attack, that is a charge. Keeping swine. Confinement of animals. Cruelty to animals. Power compensation for damage done by cruelty to animals. Bull baiting, cockfighting, and similar offenses. Detention of animals for treatment, destruction of animals, slaughtering of cattle. This Summary Offences Act is very diverse. Sunday trading is against the law. Disturbing places of worship and molesting officials performing religious functions. Bringing into contempt another person's religion. Bringing intoxicating liquor to defense force ships. Uniforms not to be worn without authority. Section 98. I want to find out if Stuart Young gave himself permission to wear police uniform. Bringing contempt on uniform. fireworks in town, fireworks outside the town, discharging firearms in street, all of this. There are laws. There are laws against all of this. Warrant to search for obscene publication, indecent pictures, writings, etc. Misuse of telephone facilities and false telegrams. Public marches and processions. Permit required for public marches. Grant of permit for marches. Prohibition on holding of public meetings during public marches. Restriction on use of loudspeakers. Offense to use loudspeaker after 11 p.m. except during election campaign. Offense to attempt to break up a public meeting. Prohibition of offensive weapons at public meetings and marches. All of this is against the law. Let's read this law. Superstitious devices, 43. Because Mr. John Prince of Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, you need to get involved in this. You need to be able to step in here and ask Nicholas Sabga if what he is broadcasting by having the conman Siaman reading people cards on CNC3 is in fact breaking the law. Any person who by any fraudulent means intimidates or attempts to intimidate any person obtains or endeavors to obtain any chattel, money, or valuable security from any other person, or pretends to discover any treasure or any lost or stolen goods, or the person who stole the same, or to inflict any disease, loss, damage, or personal injury to or upon any other person, or to restore any other person to health, and any person who procures, counsels, induces, or persuades, or endeavors to persuade any other person to commit any such offense is liable to imprisonment for 6 months. Nicholas Sabga, I need you to pay attention to this. Whereas it is shown upon the oath of a credible witness that there is reasonable cause to suspect that any person is in possession of any article or thing to use to commit an offense under section 43(1, any justice may by warrant under his hand cause any place, including CNC3, whatsoever belonging to or under the control of such person to be searched either in the day or in the night, and if any such article is found in place so searched, cause it to be seized and brought before him or some other justice, who shall cause it to be secured for the purpose of being produced in the evidence in any case in which it may be required. Larceny by trick. Larceny, embezzlement, false pretenses. Number 9. I want you to hear this. Reading people's future, reading their palms, reading their cards. All of that is trickery, and it comes under larceny, embezzlement, false pretenses. Any person who is guilty of the larceny or the attempt to commit the larceny of any chattel, money, or valuable security, such larceny not being accompanied by burglary or housebreaking, menace or threat, nor amounting to robbery with violence, or who embezzles or by any false pretense obtains or attempts to obtain from any other person with intent to defraud any chattel, money, or valuable security, where such chattel or money or valuable security does not in any case exceed the value of $2,000, is liable to a fine of $3,000 and or to imprisonment for 6 months. And these are serious issues. Which law are you reading from? The Summary Offences Act of Trinidad and Tobago. That was chapter 9. I'm telling you, allowing Winston Ragu is committing larceny by trick. He's a con man. Reading people's cards and predicting their future is against the law in Trinidad and Tobago, and receiving money for that is a criminal offense. So I'm writing the Commissioner of Police tomorrow, because Mr. UNC card reader want to use his position and his funding from the UNC to attack me, where we will dance, Mr. Brother Man. Tomorrow I'm writing the Commissioner of Police, and I verily expect a response. I am also writing the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago with regards to the witchcraft show on CNC3, where the same conman Siaman is allowed to read people's cards. Now, you would tell me, forget it and let it go. But it's like every other week, some other little charlatan jumps up trying to get themselves a post in the UNC or the PNM by attacking me. The quickest way to raise their profile, because the posts most likely to get shared and viewed on Facebook come with attacks to me. Apparently, I am something of a big thing on Facebook. So if you attack Philip Alexander, people come to listen to see where you're coming from. Where you're coming from. I want to tell you. You're following jokers. And to the people who are so gullible, thinking that you could pay your hard-earned money to this jackass mechanic. He was a mechanic driving a P-taxi on a hustle in town until somebody teach him how to con you, reading cards and telling your future. And CNC 3 produce and broadcast that. John Prince has not been well. I don't know about that, Lyndon Mark, but I am sure there is somebody in the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, and they have to investigate CNC3 because superstitious devices, obeah and magic against the law in Trinidad and Tobago. Against the law. So Nicholas Sabga, Winston Ragu, tomorrow we will deal with this. And we will deal with it the way things are supposed to be dealt with. Trinidad and Tobago needs to understand you cannot continue. And the name of the show tonight is Let's Pretend. Last night, I did a video where I was very angry with Fuad Khan for saying he not apologizing. And I exposed Kamla Prasad Bissessar as the one responsible for foisting Fuad Khan on the nation and giving him a continued audience. And yesterday Fuad Khan said, to hell with y'all. He sent people from inside the PEP to say, forget about talking about Fuad and fat shaming. Because Fuad forget, half of the UNC Parliament had to go and have their stomach stapled. They used to waddle into the Parliament, all of them. Suroj Rambachan, Rudal Murilal, Bo Tiwari, even Fuad, they used to come in like penguins. They used to come in so and sit down, big fat men, had to go and get all the women, big and fat, all of them had to go and get their stomach stapled. Anand Ramlogan, look at them, waddling into the Parliament. He called none of them name. He attacked this poor woman, Candice Santana, who was just enjoying Hamas and talking about body shaming in Trinidad and Tobago. Insult the poor woman. Nasty, nasty man. And Fuad Khan, an apology is not enough. An apology is not enough. It is not enough. Because you are benefiting politically from this mileage, and all you've done is shamed and harmed this woman. She needs to report you to the Equal Opportunities Commission. That's what needs to happen. She needs to report you for your shaming, for your irresponsible behavior. And I hope she does. I sincerely hope that she does. Because there's a section 7 of the Equal Opportunities Act that says, y'all feeling like, boy, tonight is a set of law we learning what we come out for. We gotta stay and watch TV. Equal Opportunity Act, Trinidad. It don't take much for you to find where you're going, you know. It's either section 7 or section 17. We're doing this quick. Either 7 or 17. A person shall not otherwise than in private. It is section 7. You see, I may be a bush lawyer, but I know the laws of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago better than most laws and police officers. A police officer the other day, outriders with a junior Sammy truck with piles coming down Wrightson Road heading in an easterly direction in the right lane. And the truck is in the right lane, massive truck, and the outriders clearing the road. And I told the outrider in the back, because I'm behind the truck, I said, this truck is in the wrong lane, it's breaking the law. He asked me, according to what law? I said, 4450, the Road Traffic Act. What seats you on that bike? He cracked his throttle and went up. And next thing I see, the truck in front of me, indicator on. Changing lanes. Police officer don't know the very law. Keep left except when overtaken. First basic law. That if police officers on motorcycles was just driving on the road and telling people, change lanes. Change lanes. This is the only country where the lane that you're supposed to be in is the empty lane. Lyndon, you have Google too. Google and see. Summary Offences Act is interesting reading. Yeah? But back to my boy Fuad. A person shall not otherwise than in private do any act which is reasonably likely in all his circumstances to offend, insult, humiliate, or intimidate another person or group of persons because of gender, race, ethnicity, origin, or religion, or the person of some or all persons in the group, and which is done with the intention of inciting gender, racial, or religious hatred. For the purpose of the subsection, an act is taken not to be done in private if it causes words, sounds, images, or writing to be communicated to the public. It's done in a public place. It's done in the sight and hearing of persons who are in a public place. This man put out a video shaming this woman, talking about her rolls are fat and calling her a tub. He needs to do more than apologize. And we cannot accept his sudden contrite apology this morning. Yesterday, you broadcast, you're not apologizing. Today, you're very sorry. What happened between yesterday and today? What happened, Fuad? The Progressive Empowerment Party continues to dictate the national narrative and direct all of you political charlatans who have no idea what you're doing, what you should be doing, what is right. Without a Progressive Empowerment Party, Maxi Coffee still drawing millions, Rowley still fooling the people, and Fuad could have cussed who he want and get away. Yeah? Lyndon, I see you're very vocal tonight. Somebody sent me a message. I met a guy today. He was out cleaning pools. He said to me, boss, I was a refinery operator in Petrotrin. Look what I do. Man walking around with a long broom, cleaning pools. I sure he ain't getting much more than minimum wage. He have a family to mind. He just doing what he have to do. Country has been reduced to a shame. But let's pretend. Let's pretend that when the UNC came out of office, the $30 billion that they spent on public health, not the Couva Hospital, that don't pass in this. No construction passed in this. Them is different monies. The $30 billion spent on public health over the 5 years. Let's pretend that when Kamala and crew came out, that public health was working. Let's pretend that the $20 billion Rowley spent so far, let's pretend that it working. Let's pretend. Pretend that tonight, if you get injured or one of your loved ones end up in a crisis and need to go to a public hospital, let's pretend that they will be treated with dignity and respect. I'm not bad talking it again. Let's just pretend. Let's pretend. Because you see, when people end up in these situations, I tell you, my partner, wealthy man, businessman, chain of businesses, his father got cancer. And my friend liquidated everything he had to take care of his father in private institutions, to extend his father's life as long as he could, because love does that. Went out of business, lost everything. The owner of the gym in Long Circular Mall rise from nothing. His child gets sick. He lost everything, trying all how, cruise, barbecue, whatever you could do. He lost the gym. Just trying to take care of his child. But my partner telling you about was a strong PNM. Strong. Don't tell me nothing, Philip. My brother-in-law is like a best friend to him. So in family functions, I gave him a wide berth because he rabid PNM. And he, in a general hospital bed, sent a message to Philip. Because when his father died, and he was now practically a pauper, he got sick. And there was nobody to pay for him. So he is in general hospital, eating that slop that they feed people, taking the nasty service, because it's nasty, it's real nasty. And he sent a message to tell Philip he was wrong. Now that don't do nothing for me. I can't benefit from that politically. I can't look to get mileage from it. And I will do anything in my power to help him, because he's a victim of his own misunderstanding and was led astray by these dirty charlatans in the PNM, like the people in the UNC. What is getting to me and breaking me down is the amount of people who are trying now to get in touch with me, hoping for help. Somebody called this morning. We were in a meeting at lunchtime, Progressive Empowerment Party management meeting, and they called Felicia Holder's phone, and she had to put him on hold to tell me there is somebody outside the San Fernando office, need help, family in trouble, he having problems with NIS, and he wants guidance. And I had to tell her, send him to his member of parliament. This is what these people are voted into office for. Go there. When you go to your MP's office, you sit down, because you're making excuses. Making excuses, no problem at all. But when shit happens and you have to go to your MP office and you have to sit down outside there and wait for days, and then meet with somebody who tell you what they can and cannot do, and directing you to go elsewhere. I mean, let's pretend. Let's pretend that this is a real country. That's what some of y'all are doing. Some of y'all are happy to just continue plodding along in deliberate stupor, accepting the madness of Trinidad and Tobago and tolerating it and excusing it, because you do not take your country seriously. You do not take your role as a citizen seriously. And that's the problem. When we put the media on blast, it's not because we don't like the media. Prior to forming the Progressive Empowerment Party, I was a media darling. They used to publish me twice in the papers every week. I was the only journalist, the only columnist in the TNT Mirror that was published on the weekday and the weekend. I was the only one in its history, the only one. I was a media darling. But the moment you challenge the contract mafia from the Chamber of Commerce and the unethical lawyers and the deviants in the accounting profession in this country and the criminal politicians, that group, from the time you challenge the glass clinkers who giving out public contracts like it's sweetie they're sharing, I'm still waiting for Franklin Khan to explain to the public under what circumstances. We need to know. It is our money spending. We need to know under what circumstances Michael Aboud and Amalgamated Security Services was handed Petrotrin to secure when there was a Petrotrin security force. There was a full police force, precepts and otherwise, for Petrotrin. Why wasn't that immediately privatized and given the contract, managed under National Insurance Property Development Company? Why wasn't all of Petrotrin put under NIPDEC until whatever you do with the property, because it's billions of dollars in property that belongs to the people of Trinidad and Tobago that I believe is being stolen as we speak? Why wasn't Petrotrin put under NIPDEC? Why wasn't the Petrotrin Security Service formalized into a company and run to continue to protect Petrotrin? Under what circumstances was that disbanded? those people sent home, and Michael Aboud. What happened to every other security firm in Trinidad and Tobago? Now I'll tell you something. I grew up with Abouds. I grew up Michael Aboud. When he had now come back to Trinidad, whole dog outside fed for me and party. I know these people. I don't want to enemy people, but the country is being run like a parlor. Here, take that. You want what you want? Take. You want a contract? Take. What happened to transparency? Lincoln Myers sat for 40 days on the Hall of Justice steps and fasted. That is what Kubal Singh copied. Lincoln Myers helped break the PNM and the PNM 30-year hegemony. It is Lincoln Myers fast. Go back and research. 40 days on the Hall of Justice steps for transparency and public accounting. The PNM come full circle. This Rowley, a criminal government. It's a criminal. We are actually watching the news broadcast that there is fact in the AV oil scandal that $100 million is unaccounted for, and it is quite possible these people were paid $100 million, like 1/10 of $1 billion for nothing, for nothing. And if you audit all special purpose companies, and if you audit most ministries, you will find some common names popping up, whether it's PNM or UNC, regardless of who is in office, invoicing government for all manner of things. John Rahal got into the PNM and went from selling cloth to building house and school. It's John Rahal and the Rahal family that built the madness that is Greenvale. It is John Rahal as Minister of Agriculture that somehow awarded himself the Caroni floodplain. And we have nobody to turn to in this country and ask for answers. We hear Bacchanal. We hear Bacchanal Town and Country deny them to build it. Brother, all this speeding. The first question I want answered is, how did Rahal end up owning Caroni land? How did that happen? What was the circumstances? Because we say that there is a system. A man said in a matter in the court, there is a system for this. But I don't get the system, because the system itself seems corrupt. Naming a thing a system, but it is wrongdoing, don't make it right because it has the title system. It could be a corrupt system. True talk. How did Rahal, as Minister of Agriculture, end up with Caroni lands? Question has to be asked. Asked of many other financiers and friends of the UNC and the PNM. One man get 200 acres from Manning, come and get 200 acres from Kamala, and I know he getting acres under Rowley. These fellas are equal opportunity abusers. They don't care who in office. They're just there to take. And there is nobody in this country. And you who are pretending. I told this guy today, who was a former refinery operator in Petrotrin. I told him today, what Trinidadians are not realizing is that Caroni gone, Petrotrin gone, Pitch Lake gone. The country has no more income earners. There are no more. The only place government looking to take money now is to tax the public for any and all savings they might have had, and to take that too. There are people who are quietly folding up, locking up shop, and going out of business. They ruined Tobago. They've destroyed the tourist industry in Tobago, trying to make way for our next con artist deal with Sandals. and you're walking around pretending. Reuters put out a thing about Venezuelans scrambling for water from a burst sewer main. And a couple Trinidadians proud to come and correct you. It's not a sewer main, it's a pipeline. But the picture is still, it's a freshwater pipeline, no problem. But the picture is still people scrambling over one another to get water in what should be, by dint of the fact that they are the largest oil reserves, they have the largest oil reserves in the world, far and away. It's not like them first and Saudi Arabia close behind, you know. They have almost twice the amount of oil that Saudi Arabia and the Middle East has. Venezuela stink with oil. In fact, our entire oil industry must be an overflow and a spill out from Venezuela because we're 7 miles from their coast. Venezuela oil should dictate that Venezuela should be the single wealthiest country in the world. And you are watching citizens of that country fighting one another for a bucket of fresh water. And instead of you panicking at the reality that could reduce a country so wealthy and its citizens to that, you're correcting me that it is not a so. And somebody say, choose your sources better. And somebody else had to come and say, brother, that's Reuters. They have a better source than Reuters. And there will be mistakes, but the point should not be lost. People should not be fighting for water. That coming here, this Thursday, here, tomorrow, South, have no water. They have no water to get in South tomorrow. None. In a country that has in the ground more water than we need, in a country that has fallen from the sky more water than we need, in a country that is an island in the sea that could automate with solar power, wind power, thermal power to operate desalination plants for practically free to provide all the water we could ever need. We still have none. And we're still spending billions of dollars on water, on WASA. None of what I am saying I want to say. But you have to hear that guy who is cleaning pools. If you don't vote out PLM and UNC, if you let them to entrench this system of enslavement, because that is what it is, financial enslavement, if you wake up and have to hustle just to survive, understand this. You cannot afford a hiccup. You can't afford to get sick. You can't afford an accident. You can't afford it. Worse, what happens if you lose your job? Look at the job market. What happens to this guy? If people who have pools lose their jobs, they could no longer afford to clean their pools, so they had to do it themselves. He had no work to get. What's his story? There was a time his life was ham and jam. Refinery operator. There is a reason that there is a media blackout against the Progressive Empowerment Party. And a simple reason that the powers that be, who consider themselves the elite in this country, do not want you to know the truth of your condition. Because if Trinidadians knew the truth of their condition, things would change. Things would change. So they're fighting hell hard. And they're paying and sponsoring any little charlatan that they could to attack me, to silence the Progressive Empowerment Party, because the only organization in this country telling the people the truth, because the UNC days and weeks behind us, and as the nation's opposition. The government grudgingly admits, when we look at the fight that I had to fight to get the government to admit that Maxi Coffee was incapacitated, incapable of doing the job of minister. They lied. They sent Stuart Young to lie, Fitzgerald Hines to lie, Camille Robinson Regis to lie, until Rowley had no choice, because we were getting doctors, medical professionals to admit that Maxi Coffee wasn't where they said he was and what it was costing. Rowley had to come and admit that he stole $3 million. He, Keith Rowley, stole $3 million that he was not entitled to take. He wasn't entitled under any law to take that money. Your prime minister stole $3 million and gave it to Maxi Coffee, who is not entitled by any law to receive it. The two of them, Keith Rowley and Maxi Coffee, should be charged for theft. $3 million. But it is not happening because everybody who has the role and the responsibility to bring them to justice are otherwise compromised. Today a contractor tell me, Philip, business supporting you, you know. Business want to come out and support you hard. But you have to understand, it's a country where 60% of the economy still flows from the government. And anybody who steps up and supports you and supports the Progressive Empowerment Party puts themselves at risk to not only not getting government contracts, but being blacklisted for subcontracts in the industry that they operate because of political spite. And I know that. Just the media blackout of the Progressive Empowerment Party shows you how devious and committed these people are. How could you block a political alternative from the public using the public's airwaves? Nicholas Sabga, for all the Sabga name they think they have, do not own the airwaves. It belongs to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Without our airwaves, CNC3 is Nicholas Sabga, Samson Nantan and Hamer playing small goal in the newsroom. It is our airwaves they broadcast on. And that is an unconstitutional, if not criminal act. But the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, who oversees the licensing of these media houses, have no interest whatsoever in actually doing their job. Dr. John Prince roused himself from his PNM-induced slumber, raised his dribble-soaked face from his desk to ask, hey, can that man really go on TV6 and call the Prime Minister a jackass? And I asked him, I said, make the list. Make the list of the words that I cannot say. Because the moment you put on the list the word jackass, shut down every Catholic church in Trinidad and Tobago. Because Mary wrote a Bethlehem on a jackass. Tear that page out of the Bible and declare the Holy Bible censored in Trinidad and Tobago. But that jackass, John Prince, and if you look at them, Lyndon Mack telling me that he's sick, I wouldn't be surprised. All of the people that have gone out of their way to victimize me, pay the first person in the PNM. I ran for elections in 2015 as an independent in Diego Martin West. Under Gary Griffith, I created a very important, I was responsible for setting up, don't let me say created, I was responsible for setting up a very important communication device that makes it possible for the government to stay in touch with the public on short notice. After the election, I spoke to Maxi Coffee. Understand how I come to be speaking to Maxi Coffee? He was the Minister of Communication under which this falls, and he was my editor in the TNT Mirror. It is I, when Maxi was the editor of the Mirror and being starved for funds, by the UNC. It is I that got advertising from the Ministry of National Security for the Mirror because he would cry tears to me that he's losing everything. This Maxi Coffee, I want to show you something. The day Maxi Coffee became minister, I spoke to him on the phone. I said, Maxi, you're going to encounter this situation and we should speak about it because I don't mind making it available to your government. It's in the best interest of the country. Maxi Coffee said to me in that phone call, I'll never forget this. Maxi Coffee, my editor, we used to talk twice a week. I would go up to the Mirror with my story and we'd sit down there with my column and we'd talk for over 2 hours. My editor, Maxi Coffee, said to me on the phone that day, Philip, you know you can't get nothing from this government. You run against the leader. I said, Maxi, there's a difference between politics and governance. He said, you know that don't matter in Trinidad. I said, is he saying Maxi Coffee? He said, Philip, I'm telling you the honest truth. I said, Maxi, this is the last time you and I will ever speak. Watch his condition. Watch John Prince. I watch people do wrong, do me wrong, and put themselves in all kind of hospital and end up dying from all kind of sickness. No joke. This mission here that we on, let me tell you, the difference between the Progressive Empowerment Party and the UNC is they get paid with public funds. Plus, they have financiers who are credibly expecting to steal money if the UNC gets into power. So they will advance their money. They will advance to the PNM and they will advance to the UNC. So whichever gets into power, they will take back 20, 30 times the money they advance. So they have no problem doing that. Kamala and her family eating off of that. Financier money, public funds, she's being paid as an opposition and they're getting money for that. The Progressive Empowerment Party works 10 times harder than them. We have no public funds to get and we have no financiers. All of the money that we make, today's meeting, 50% of that meeting was finance. And I keep saying it. I want my detractors to hear. I want our enemies in the PNM and the UNC to hear me say this. We are suffering for money, but something will break. Something will break just now. Something will change. The Progressive Empowerment Party didn't come this far to only come this far. And to those who standing firm and chuckling, because I hear the stories, but you wouldn't mad say it to my face. But those of you standing up and chuckling and trotters, enjoy yourself. Going to Lyman Prime, enjoy yourself. Be talking. I had to slap down a Syrian businessman this week who made a joke about me. I said, brother, explain to the country where that, anyway. Stick a pin in that. There are no sacred cows in Trinidad and Tobago. When the Progressive Empowerment Party gets the government, teachers and police officers and farmers will be elevated as the first level because those 3 people are required to rescue this country. Teachers, police officers, and farmers. We will do everything in our power to elevate their condition where home ownership, cost of living, salaries, wages, and the opportunity to earn an income is concerned. We will make sure that teachers, police officers, and farmers, first of all, their circumstances change. We will also make sure in quick time, small business development to create support for all who would like to open a business. You see, there are a lot of people who, because of their political connections, are able to starve out any competitors. We will flip that script. We will make sure that we level the play field for everybody. No longer people will have to be able to tell you, boy, is not where no, is who. Turn that around. Turn that around. The banks in Trinidad and Tobago, I want the Bankers Association of Trinidad and Tobago to hear me clear. Keep funding the PNM and the UNC. Don't set a cent for the PEB. Because when we get into office, whether you give us money or not doesn't matter. When we get into office, there will be Financial Regulations Act of whatever year that is. High on our legislative agenda. So if it is 2020, we win government, there will be something called the Financial Regulations Act of 2020 that supersedes all other laws. That subsumes and supersedes all other laws. We will ensure that all of those fees are cancelled and reduced to a percentage of $1, and you have to justify it. You can charge people $44 to transfer money from one account to a next account in the same bank. That is theft. That is fraud. We've allowed the banks to commit legal fraud. We no longer have a financial industry. What we have is bordering on a criminal empire. All deposits that are paid into a bank must attract interest set by central bank. And hear me, when you hear Republic Bank and Royal Bank and Scotia Bank boards of directors tell you, boy, if that is true, we gotta pack up and leave, be our guests. We will open the market. We will bring in 50, 100, only making billions of dollars per quarter. We just have to publish the performance of the financial sector in Trinidad and Tobago during a recession for the world to see. And you will see how many competing banks want to come and set up shop here. We will ensure, and I am promising Trinidad and Tobago this, we will ensure that depositors' funds attract interest, short term, medium term, long term. Depositors' funds will attract interest. The interest charged on credit will have governing policies, and the rates charged will also be set by central bank. The day of the banking elite taking advantage of this country and say it clear, hide me from the media, no problem. You see the spread on the foreign exchange? If you buy it for $6.01, you're selling it for $6.05. You can't sell it for $6.77. And if you say, we're going to run out of business, we will bring other banks. We will free it up so that the credit unions could sell US, because everybody wants a piece of that money. And it's big money. 5 cents on a dollar, when you're talking billions of dollars, is a lot of money. And it is time. Eleanor tried to say some accessing credit from the credit unions, yes. But we don't want no sideways, underhands, backhand thing. We want a real, regulated financial sector. Here it is. Insurance companies would be mandated by law. This is a law that we want as part of the Financial Regulations Act. Insurance companies will be required by law to settle all claims by duly paid customers within 3 months. If somebody bunks your car, if you get knocked down and you have health insurance and you submit your claim, they have 3 months. They have 3 months to pay that claim or to trigger a fraud clause. If they think that their customer's claim is committing fraud, take them to court. A special fraud court will be set up, and judges will be mandated if insurance companies taking public funds are delaying, because that's what they do, you know. They know they have to pay you, but they delay you so that they could make interest on the money and pay you with free money. So they have people who have an approved claim 5 years waiting and suffering. You have 3 months to pay or take them to court. And if you cannot prove a fraud case, the judge has the authority to award 10 times the original claim to dissuade nuisance lawsuits. We need to flip the entire script. I want the business community to hear me coming. That the living wage, that the wages that we pay, our minimum wage, must be set and pegged to the cost of living and change and vary with inflation. We must make sure that we manage the economy so that we're not setting a minimum wage today and moving prices outside of the reach of the people on which the wage was set in the first place. insanity. You're telling them it is $50 a month to live in Trinidad and Tobago based on these criteria. And then when you pass that as law, you change the criteria, but they're stuck with $50. How is that supposed to work? And then you want to go in the Chamber of Commerce in Westmoreland and rend your garments and bleat about crime. You're causing it. You, by your greed, you are causing it. And it is time. The cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago was brought in reach of the average person. Now, this is the Progressive Empowerment Party's stance, that the lowest rung of society cannot be lower than the minimum wage. If a minimum wage is $2,250 a month, then it must be tabulated that that could afford to pay a mortgage on a home and put food on the table for a family. And if it can't, that is not a minimum wage. And there are many ways to close that profiteering, gouging gap. And one of those ways is to pin down that moving target that has been like trying to nail jello to a wall, what Sean Steunerine calls herding cats, trying to understand why our dollar is 1/7 the value of a United States dollar. That first question, and has 1/15 the spending power. Let's come back to the first question. We export more than we import because we would have gone out of business a long time ago. Everything that we consume, we import, but we pay for it with exported dollars, pitch, oil, gas, wherever. Because that's the balance, that's our balance sheet. That's our balance sheet. All the income that we generate to run the budget is because of exports. And all of the food and all these imports. Why would they have a 1-to-7 disparity in the value of our dollar? And even if you set that to make the cost of our produce cheaper for exports, I'll take that slap. But if we 1/7, how is our spending power 1/15? Why do we lose again? Put it this way for the people who are having difficulty understanding the truth, right? For the people having difficulty understanding, put it this way. An hour of labor in Trinidad and Tobago breaking the ground should be on par with an hour of labor in the United States of America or Canada or England breaking the ground. And what you get paid there can spend and buy certain things. And if our earnings cannot spend and buy similar, then we're wrong. Our whole equation of how we operate the economy is wrong, and we are doing our people wrong, and we have to fix that. The cost of living is predicated on what you can get in exchange for your labor. That's it. And in Trinidad and Tobago, that is not a lot. And there are no magical obvious excuses as to why that might be so, other than government incompetence, mismanagement, and failure to rein in a rapacious 1% and a usurious banking class. That is one of our biggest problems. Eleanor Chaitu, PNM and UNC doing the people wrong years now, not just PNM. Because if you don't see that nothing changed under Pandey and nothing changed under Kamla, and those of you all who say that the knife that was in your back 12 inches when the UNC come, they take it out 6 inches and all you're thanking God for that, miss me with that. It was supposed to be a change in the circumstances of the people of this country, and we did not get that. That's not what we got. Under Pandey, we got Ish and Steve and Brian and Russell and Renee and the rest of them, and the Piarco scandal. Under Kamla, well boy, the only reason Rowley not going after Kamla and her band is because her band is his band. The corruption that took place under the UNC fed the contract mafia, the same contract mafia benefiting from contracts under the PNM. Shanghai trading is building a building in Sinclair, 4 stories tall, next to Sinclair Medical Center. They are coming to put down roots in this country to tell you that under the PNM and the UNC, all public works are theirs. All public developments are theirs. Now the mission is to finance Trinidad with fraudulent loans, and Shanghai Trading on China Railway will come and build projects, unnecessary glory projects in Trinidad and Tobago. Shiny shit. There is a deliberate reason why Napa is such a shiny piece of shit. Third world people have been accepting baubles and shiny trinkets from Europeans for centuries. And now we gone China and we come to build Napa, Sapa, Tapa. Bullshit that we don't need, that we don't use. Every now and then they will name a section of it after some cultural icon, and that relevant race will be able to pat themselves on the back and say, look how far we come. Lord Kitchener get an auditorium. So the Indians can say, but what about we? And they will say, Sundar Popo get a doorway. And somehow that take we somewhere. But we still owing China billions of dollars. While we are applauding for Kitch and Popo and Sundar, your children mortgaged to China for their future, to stay and work for slave wages, to pay a loan that if we can't pay, whatever left of our crown jewels, gone. Ask anybody in the media why these are not the stories being covered. When you watch social media and you see Pakistan and Nigeria and the other countries that's suffering under the whip of China now, China practically owns countries in Africa. It is because of this debt trap. It is a fake debt. It is not real. We are not taking money to operate. And that is why the Venezuelans are happy that Trump came to answer Maduro and the Chinese. Because you could say what you want about the CIA and the Banana Republic and all that shit. What China and Russia came to do in Venezuela was to take the country. They came to take it. We in Trinidad and Tobago, we have a literal running lesson right in front of our face, and we're doing nothing about it. Because we're telling ourselves, as long as our well-dressed, well-sounding leaders continue to bullshit us nicely, we will take that chain up, herd ourselves together. So when we see the gentleman getting shot in front of that shop, we tell ourselves, he deserved that. We didn't talk about the father of the little girl inside the shop who died too. Collateral damage. What did he do to deserve getting killed with his little 6-year-old daughter walking in a shop? But you're not facing your reality. You're waiting till you plug in the Christmas tree lights and they have no lights to come on. You're waiting till you have to watch your children and tell them sad stories. You're waiting till you and your family sitting down in the hospital and they have no medicine for all you. You're waiting until you have nowhere to turn, nobody to turn to. All of the chickens come home to roost. Trinidad becomes a ruined, failed nation, and they have nowhere for you to go. Listen, all the wine and drink and pretend you could do it, you know. Fool yourself. Take chain up. Listen to the jackasses and them bad talking Philip, bad talking the Progressive Empowerment Party. All we doing is working to inform, educate, and empower. Listen to the message. Check the facts. And go and see for yourself if what we're telling you is the truth. If the people on the Titanic knew that the iceberg was coming, they may have lived to sail another day. This is us telling you there is an iceberg in our path and we're heading directly for it. Wake up, Trinidad and Tobago. The People's National Movement and the United National Congress are two fronts for criminal corruption and self-enrichment in this country. The two of them divide this country racially to separate us, so that we can be exploited and taken advantage of. It is time for us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, to get past this. It is time for us to wake up to the truth of our situation before it gets too late. Before we slam in to that iceberg looming in our future. Yeah? Do you agree? Now is the time.
I visited Parliament Chamber, witness an orchestra, a band of only politicians, rated their performance and style, talent and endurance, a band of parliamentarians. All the kids that encourage hate, making good folks discriminate, preachers replaced by gates. Nurturing racism, prejudice and tribalism, multiculturalism, mamadism from the UNC and the PNM, COP and the political symphony. It's a symphony with the TOP, MSJ and JC and the political symphony. It's a symphony. Stop taking it cool. Don't be playing for fool. They're using race as a tool to divide, conquer, and rule. Justify their bull. The race can always pull. Lead vocalists have sore throat. Keyboard is playing wrong note in this band of serial politicians. Their lyrics not rhyming. Some have no sense of timing. Band of parliamentarians.
You know, I play these calypsos. I play these calypsos so you all hear other people who have been warning too. You could never say, Trinidad and Tobago could never say that we didn't know. We could say we knew and we choose to ignore it. But we could never say that we didn't know. Not at all.
Every day I sit and wonder how this sweet island gets so bitter. No salary but cost of living gets higher. We inhumane behavior, things don't turn upside down. Smiling faces becomes a frown. Guns galore, we now live in fear. People no longer seems to care. My heart is filled with pain and agony. I see a man begging for mercy. They rob him and they shoot up his body. I can't take no more. I pray for me safety. Sweet tea and tea. Bring it back. Land of the milk and honey. Bring it back. Sweet family. The way that it used to be. Like long ago. What was mine was yours too. Peace and harmony. My red, white and black country. so natural. Humans behaving more like animals. No respect for values anymore. Even the lawmakers breaking the law. Who can we trust? Tell me who to save. Is they undertakers? Dig new graves. Wailing and balling is the new band launching. New sizes of boxes we measure. Nearly all our soul you're hearing in the morning. Live on a movie in Trinbago now showing. Sweetie and tea. Land of the milk and honey. Sweet family. The way that it used to be, Lord. Like a long ago. What was mine was yours too. Peace and harmony. My red, white, and black country. Oh, 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 oh. I'm pleading with you. I'm pleading with you, Lord. Bring back the nations. Oh, oh. Like it's blood and crime take over. The rich are all feeling the pressure. People die like flies, yet we fight. What would it take for us to unite? Look how we children them going astray. And the poor hold on to faith each day. So all we have a message and playing dumb. Many go pay in time to come. So all the innocent lives they taking. The mind and the souls they corrupting. Everything has a price to pay. On a great, great judgment day. Sweetie and tea. Land of the milk and honey. Sweet family. The way that it used to be. Like long ago. What was mine was yours. Peace and harmony. My red, white, and black country. Take on and lift up this island. I place the situation in your hand. You can create and you can destroy. He's turned our sorrows into joy. Forgive us, Father, we have sinned. Turn back the sword, and Lord, I'm pleading. Change the hearts of the wicked ones. Guide and protect all your daughters and sons. Through this perilous times, I know with you on board, blessings will flow. TNT will again arise. Through the sweet, sweet border. Bring it sweet TNT. Land of the milk and honey. Sweet family. The way that it used to be, Lord. Like long ago. What was mine was yours too. Peace and harmony. My red, white, and black country. Bring it back, I say. Bring it back, I say. Bring it back, I say. When it take a village to grow a child, and all we do was smile. Bring the country back, I say. When we eat from the same pot, we drink from the same cup. My red, white, and black country. When we look out for each other, we were all brothers keepers. My red, white, and black country. Sweet family. My red, white, and black country.
I just had to tell somebody on a thread, on a message thread, that like you, like most of you, like all of you who don't pay attention to it, the average day, I just want to say, screw it. I don't eat one another. This don't affect me. Leave it to them. Forget it. Move on. Do like friends of mine who are happy. I see Trinbagonians happy in foreign countries who just got fed up and left. I have members of my family asking me, how much more of my life am I going to spend trying to convince people to act in their own best interests? I don't know. It's a tough road, it's tiring, it's very expensive in a lot of ways, especially to my peace of mind. I took something like a day off this morning. I didn't go on the radio show, and for the day I didn't know Facebook had their problems, because I just really was taking time off from the conversation. Only this afternoon I found out Facebook was down, because I wasn't trying to post to Facebook today. And I'm telling myself, I want to take a little break from the madness of the conversation, because a lot of people know it, and they know the truth, and they're choosing to do otherwise. And that's insanity. That's insanity, knowing the truth but believing in the lies. That you can't fix. You can't fix that. So yeah, like you, don't get me wrong, there's no special dispensation. But last night I go B&M ice cream on Western Main Road outside the pharmacy. I just take my mother and father for a drive now and then to get ice cream. So I take them B&M ice cream, and I had a soursop. They had coconut. My father had a soursop. But when I get out of the car, the response of the young black man selling the ice cream. Boss, is you come to get ice cream from me? I went there unhappy with the politics. To hear this young gentleman who's selling ice cream on the side of the road, that he know me, that he's followed the videos, that he is thankful for the knowledge. The guy cleaning the pool. Boss, is you? That's you? The way they behave, the people of the country. And my answer to my family is, I feel I've woken people up. I have an obligation to them to see this through. I don't know. I don't know what can happen. We could fail miserably. I don't lose. We could win, and the country wins. It's not in my hands. What's up to me is to do my part. The Bible talks about your talents. You're given talents. And that at some point, the keeper of the house will come to ask, what did you do with your talents? My father told me when I was a little boy, to whom much is given, much is expected. And that resonates in my head. There is a fella called Bonhoeffer who wrote of the Holocaust. History will not be kind to us, not in cases of abuse. Let me give you his actual saying, because these are the things that when I think to say, screw it. I remember I walk a road cut by giants. Bonhoeffer said, silence in the face of evil is itself evil. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. I understand what he meant. I put that in my closing comments in a defamation matter to the judge. I don't do this because I love this. Tonight, this is not fun. It is never enjoyable. I make the best of it. The work is to continue to lift people up, to open their minds, to give them the ability to make a better choice. That is all. That is the entire mission. It is never about promoting me. It is never about me wanting a job. I don't even want to do this. And I want to be honest with you. So don't even class me with the rest of these charlatans. I have no interest in this. None whatsoever. And the reason why the good people of this country all sound the same, when people ask me if Gary Griffith is a pepper, I say no. Gary Griffith is a good man. And there's a difference. You can't take the good man out of a man. You can't take the bad man out of a man. Sabga using a saying, piece of a saying to sell stag. And that's how nasty Sabga is. I'm watching billboards where they thief a piece of a saying. There is a saying, all that is required for evil to prosper is that good men do nothing. Sabga thief it, twist it. Things will continue to get bad if good men do nothing. Using that as a saying to sell stag piss water to drunken people and take their money for bullshit. Miss me with your nonsense, Sabga. Miss me with it. All they're fed up, tired, frustrate and pervert people's minds with your nonsense. Things will continue to get bad as long as good men do nothing. So drink stinking stag piss water. That is doing something. Trinidad and Tobago, all that is required for the evil that has prospered in Trinidad and Tobago to continue to prosper, all that is required for the contract mafia to prosper in Trinidad and Tobago is that good men do nothing. All that is required for the 1% to continue to advantage people in Trinidad and Tobago is that good men do nothing. All that is required for racist politics to continue to divide and define us is that good men do nothing. All that is required for this country to continue to be a open-bordered narco state is that good men do nothing. All that is required for this country to end up a full-fledged banana republic is that good men do nothing. It is time for all the good men of this country, shake off your biases, shake off your prejudices, shake off what is holding you back from stepping up, shake it off. Wake yourself up. Accept your responsibility. If you are a good man, and I'm saying this to the good women in this country too, not to speak is to speak, not to act is to act. Silence in the face of evil is itself evil. It is time for us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, to take responsibility for ourselves, our future, and our country. To do otherwise is to allow evil to prosper. Evil has been the dominating factor in this country for all of our history. It is time to change that. It is time to fix that. It is time to do better by each other. It is time, Trinidad and Tobago, to join together as one people under one flag. It is time to go into government and find who stole our money and bring them and all of their co-conspirators to justice. It is time to bring our money back to Trinidad and Tobago. It is time to turn around the culture of wrongdoing and corruption. It is time to fix it. It is time to undo and redo it. It is time to reboot this republic. It is time to put aside the scandalous madness and bacchanal of the PNM and UNC and do better by TNT. Mama Trinity waiting on all of us to wake up. Stand up, Trinidad and Tobago. Stand up one to another. You don't like each other, you know. Emotional intelligence begs that we put aside our biases and our prejudices. Emotional intelligence says that red, white, and black is the most important thing. That if we fix this country, all of we will do well. All of we will prosper. None of us will have to waste money on raw iron and water tanks. It is time to fix our country. It is time to do it one to another. Stand together, one people under one flag, and make a better Trinidad and Tobago. I have the time-linked measure and inclination. There is nobody else willing to take the fight to the contract mafia. If you want a better country, put the bullshit aside and stand up for La Trinity. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.